Hello everyone, it's Melissa and welcome back to my channel. On today's video, we'll be making a holiday charm bracelet using Softflex Company beading wire and garnet. We'll be using these 8mm emerald AB Czech Glass, also from Softflex, and I will go ahead and leave links down below in the description box for all the products used. We'll be using a couple packs of the John Bead Sweet and Petite Charms, one in snowman and one in the reindeer. We'll need some 6mm jump rings, a clasp of your choice, and this one is from Tiara Cast. And we'll be using 2x2s in golds. We have our beautiful Christmas colors. So we're going to cut about 16 to 18 inches of Softflex, just depending on how big you would like your bracelet, if you want it to fit your wrist or if you wanted a little bit of a dangle. So we're going to trim our wire. And now we're going to fold it in half, as close to in half as it can be, and go ahead and trim it again. So you should have about 8 to 9 inches of Softflex and 2 strands of it. We're going to grab one of our 6mm jump rings and 2 little tubes. I just love all the different colors that Softflex wire comes in, and it really makes it so easy and so much fun to match your wire to your beads, either the same color and different tones, different hues of it, or just contrasting colors and complementary colors. So we're going to take one side of our wire, string on that 2x2, and string on a jump ring. And then we're just going to move that wire and pass it back through that jump ring. So we're going to have that little loop there. Once it's passed back through the wire, we're just going to come in and give it a little bit of a smash. And then we're going to rotate and squeeze again. This is going to flatten your wire and ensure that the jump ring stays on. You have a little tail sometimes. You can go ahead and trim that, or we can just slide the bead right over. And sometimes the beads want to be a little difficult and not fit over that wire. So if that's the case, we will need to trim it. But for this project, it'll slide right over. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, connecting it to that same jump ring. So we're going to slide on that tube. I like how the red is just showing at the end, and then it goes right into that green. And with this particular project, you are going to get both colors showing in there. A little bit of a tricky part sometimes is trying to make sure that your wires or your loops are fairly the same size. You just kind of compare them. And then when you're happy with the loops, one was more rounded than oval, so we had to fix that. Let's go and give it a smash and turn. And then we're going to slide on that green bead. And we'll get that little tail tucked in on both of them. So that's what it should look like. And then we have this jump ring here to attach our clasp, or if it's made a little bit short, we can add another jump ring or two just to make sure that the bracelet will fit us. So it's going to look like that to start. We're going to take our 2 wires and slide one green bead on one side. We have our other wire. We don't want it going through the same way. We're going to do a crisscross. So we have it on this wire here. We're going to take the other wire and pass through on the opposite side. So it should look like this. And since these are 8mm beads, they do pass through very easily. So your project is going to look like this. You have your 3 beads and then your connection points. Kind of looks like a little hidden Mickey. And this project does kind of want to do its own thing for the first couple passes through as we're building it. And then once it starts to straighten out, it tends to get more firm. Kind of just knows what it wants to do. So we put 2 beads on, one on each side. We're going to do that again. Slide 1 green bead on one side and then do a crisscross. And it's okay if your piece turns as long as you're still doing, kind of wants to sit up there. There we go. It's going to curve a little bit. You can always just kind of flatten it out. Usually when you get to 5 or 6 little units here, then it starts to really cooperate. But if your project tends to turn over, as long as you're still doing that crisscross, like if you say you always want to put the bead on the left-hand side and crisscross through the right, then it'll turn out. So we're going to slide 2 more beads on, and then we're going to do that crisscross again. Slide it on one side, crisscross, and pull. In the bracelet, you want to make sure that you do save 2 beads at the end. So once you do your final crisscross, you'll have those 2 to finish it off and attach. See, I'm kind of like stretching it out just a little bit, just to kind of hold its shape so it doesn't crunch up so much. And just do that a few times and your bracelet will straighten out. So put on our 2 beads. And then we're going to crisscross. And we have enough for 3 more. We have enough for 2 more, and then we're going to finish our pattern. And this may look like a small bracelet, but we're going to add the clasp, which is a fairly large clasp. So when making the bracelet, we do have to put into account how big our clasp is. And I'm going to have some extra soft flex from this project. So just make sure to save it because you can always make like a little earring out of it, a pendant, just a little dangle ornament charm. So then we're going to add on 1 more bead on each side. And we're going to get a jump ring ready. We're going to attach it. So we're going to need 2 more. They're little gold tubes. More always comes out than what is needed. Does that happen to anyone else when designing? Alrighty. So we're going to slide on our 2x2. We already have that bead on. And then the same way that we started the project, we're just going to slide it down. And this is a lot of soft flex. This can definitely make an earring later, or great for a little dangle as well. So you just want to make sure that, same thing, our loops are kind of the same size. And you may notice that that middle bead that we did our last crisscross on is kind of starting to come undone. So we'll just make sure before we smash these down that they are nice and tight. We do the same thing. And go to that jump ring. And pass back through the 2x2. Now we have to make sure that our loops not only match each other, but are fairly the same size as the other one on the other side of our bracelet. So they're fairly similar here. Then we'll just go ahead and give them a smash. Same way that we did the other ones. It'll be a little bit tricky just to get them in the way that they need to be. Because now you have more beads to work with to get them to cooperate. Okay, so we have our little bracelet. I know it looks really, really small, but we're going to go ahead and embellish it. So this is 2 strands of the 8mm Czech Glass. If you need it to be a little bit bigger for the bracelet, I would go ahead and order 3 strands just so you can make a couple more units. And then working with about that 9 inches of soft flex, this is how much I had left over. So great to make an earring, even another small bracelet, or maybe like a hoop earring. So definitely save that for another project. So now we're going to attach our clasp. We're going to take 2 more jump rings. We're going to go ahead and open them. And I just love this bracelet because once you have the base, and that's what I refer to this as, you can do so many different things. If you wanted to add another jump ring through and kind of do a little bit of a chainmail to lead up to the clasp, then that's perfect and beautiful. Our jump ring open, we're going to slide it on to that other jump ring. Just need to open it just a little bit more. We're going to slide on that clasp. Then we're going to close. Make sure it is completely closed. And we have our clasp. Now we're going to add on our another jump ring. On the other side, we're just going to go and open that up and attach. Now, if you are using a toggle, you have to make sure that your toggle bar is going to pass through. So we have our beautiful bracelet, which is sparkly all on its own. And now we're just going to go ahead and attach some charms to the bracelet. So we have some snowmen and reindeer. So this first one, when we started out, I don't count those. I just count the ones that are in 4s. So this would be a pattern in this one here. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So for 9, we just have to kind of even out. Maybe we just want 1 reindeer in there. I think that looks cute. Just put 1 reindeer. If we add 5, we really have a charm bracelet. And we can always attach like a reindeer to the clasp as well. I'm kind of liking just the 1 reindeer in the center and then the 2 snowmen off to the side. So we'll go ahead and save the reindeer for another project. Take our jump ring and just twist it open. Leave our snowman out of the way. Put on our reindeer. So we're going to open our jump ring and add our reindeer. And then we're going to find the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right in here will be in the middle. And you're just going to try to hook on to the soft flex. You should hear like a little pop when it goes through. This is why you want to use a 6mm jump ring, especially with those 8mm Czech Glass beads, because little 4mm jump rings are not going to close, and you're not going to be able to get your tools through it. Just going to adjust our jump ring there, make sure it's nice and closed. And we have added our first charm. So we have our cute little reindeer. And now we're going to add on our snowman. In the same way, just reopen the jump ring with holding it with one set of your pliers. Adjust your charm and then close it back. And then we should have our little snowman. Then we're going to do this again and open up our jump ring to attach our last little charm. And then we're going to attach it right here. Just through the wire and close. We have our beautiful little holiday charm bracelet with Czech Glass.